All right, week 9 of the NFL had a bunch of crazy stuff. I've got some winners and some losers. Winners, Steelers defense, Minnesota Vikings fans, and the San Francisco 49ers resilience. My losers, Joe Burrow. What? How's he a loser? He didn't even play. Yeah, Joe Burrow. The Green Bay Packers. And this magic that everyone was feeling for the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts magic, also a loser in my loser category. And then I do have kind of a crazy take, and that is, even though the New York Giants lost to the 49ers at home, I think that they should feel some hope. Mike, we're going to start off, though, with a game that had absolutely no defense at all. The Chicago Bears and the Cincinnati Bengals. This was a, how do you say it, track meet? Literally nobody.
That's good.
I should.
They usually call it a shootout, but track meet is a good phrase. That's good from your broadcasting lingo that you're trying.
Yeah, from my broadcasting lingo. All right, here I'm just going to put up what happened here at the end of this game, or kind of the roller coaster of a finish here. It's absolutely wild.
He's got Loveland blocking. Moore. What an effort by Moore. Okay. Bounds. That's going to help you win.
Cincinnati down 2 touchdowns. Oh, they score. The Bears have a 97% win probability. Okay. Cincinnati gets the onside kick. They're down 6. They get the onside kick. Incredible.
Look here, watch the right toe, Daniel Hardy, left foot. I'm
sorry.
There's a left foot graze right there on the football.
Crazy. Joey Flacco. The go-ahead touchdown. The Bears win probability now just 25%. It was like 98%. And then 20 seconds left.
No way.
Talk about whiplash of emotions.
Snip, snap, snip, snap.
Snip, snap, snip, snap. And then poor Joe Flacco, he tried for the Hail Mary, but his 40-year-old arm came up short. That's
the
where
tinnitus in his shoulders. Yeah. The arthritis is kicking in.
It's crazy. He played his best game, I think, statistical game of his life. 470 yards he threw. The guy is, I think, what is he, 41 years old? Okay. But I'll talk about Joe Burrow here, or excuse me, I'm going to talk about Joe Flacco in a second, but we have to talk about the Bengals defense, first of all. They missed 15 tackles for an additional 133 yards. So I think the Bears ended up having like 500 plus yards of offense. 133 of those came on missed tackles. And this one right here that we see, this is the go-ahead touchdown, is the most egregious example. There's 3 guys right there that should have tackled him. Look, I'm going to pause this.
Horrible. This is a very interesting stat. The amount of yards after missed tackles, that needs to be tracked more in games. That is really interesting and really telling for defense.
Yeah, it really is. Look at this. Can you believe that this ended up in a touchdown? It's just like, I should add to my list of winners, tackling clinics in Cincinnati, Ohio, because the Bengals are going to have to send all of their players on defense to some amateur tackling clinics. Try and get these guys to learn how to tackle.
Yeah, they need a Tony Robbins seminar on how to tackle.
Yeah, look at that. Look at this. Can you see that? It says Bengals entered Sunday with 94 missed tackles, 645 yards. Both of those were the most in the NFL. And then it came back to bite them in the end. It's just like Joe Flacco puts together this miraculous comeback, and the defense just cannot get one stop. Here's what I want to ask you, Mike, okay? The tension in this locker room has got to be crazy, because the Bengals offense is humming. Like, what they put up 42 points with a 40-year-old quarterback. And here is Jamar Chase afterward screaming, like, he's not really screaming, but he's letting his frustration be heard. We can't get one effing stop. Here it is. Wait. It's just crazy. It's like
that's so frustrating. And I have no problem with voicing your frustration this way, but when you're like, because it's a little bit contained and very natural, like, can't get one stop. But if you're like walking down the hall and you're screaming out, like, can't get one effing stop. So like, I respect this, because that is ridiculous considering how many points you guys put up, and you can't get one stop. It's all kids. Literally, I respect how he showed his frustration here, is what I'm saying.
Okay. What do you think about this one? Okay. Chase Brown says he's had it with the defense. He got a little bit more inflammatory. Here's Chase Brown being interviewed. And I would say, and just what this guy says here on Twitter, if you're saying this to the media, it's got to be 10 times worse in the locker room. Okay. And here's Chase Brown.
But that's it sucks, but that's NFL. you got to play to the last second. You can't let up even when you feel like the momentum shifted. So that would be how I'm feeling right now, is just play all the way through. And
what was running through your head walking back to the locker room, Chase?
probably the same as what was running through your head, like what the fuck? What the fuck?
It's just like, okay,
He was responding in reference to that last play.
yes. Also, and just like, what
Yeah.
is your response to like your offense doing so well, and then the defense just not being able to get one stop? And it's just like, it's crazy. All right, the Bengals do spend the least amount of money on defense, or like top 4 least amount of money on defense, and they spend the most money on offense. So that's just, I mean, it's just gotta get fixed. And it's just like missed tackles. This is like a high school football problem. And I just don't.
All it takes is, I don't know, 5 or 10 more minutes of Indy every day. I know, twice a week. That's really all it takes to get the.
Well,
I know Indy sucks, but that's what it comes down to. 5 minutes of tackling. Get some of the practice squad guys to be tackling dummies, and get rid of this extra 130 yards post missed tackle. That's a insanely horrible stat.
Yeah, that's like there's some teams that put up 130 yards total of offense. It's like this, you allowed 130 yards post missed tackle, and now they continue to lead the league in that. All right, I do want to. All right, so enough about how bad the Bengals defense is. We can talk about that forever. I do want to talk about this. With Joe Flacco stepping in and running that Bengals offense very well and having his best statistical game at age 40. Okay. Does this make Joe Burrow look bad? Because it's just like, oh, you throw in Joe Flacco, and it's like everyone wrote this guy off, and this guy is diming up all over the field, playing great. They're scoring. This is the exact same scenarios they had basically last year with Joe Burrow. Is score a bunch of points, great offense, defense sucks. It's like, it's not really that difference. Do you think that it looks bad for Joe Burrow?
It's hard not to, but it also, I think it's a little bit of both. Number one, it's just Joe Flacco. He still got it. You know, when you give him some weapons, he can dish it out. I do think it's kind of a tough look for Joe Burrow, and it's going to be, I don't know what to say. I think more than anything, it's just impressive that Joe Flacco is doing this. And I just think, again, it looks so bad for the Browns. It's so sad for them, what they do, all these decisions, and watching these guys leave them continuously and then put up great numbers.
Yeah, I know. Now you've got Joe Flacco, you got Baker Mayfield. And this is also, look, Joe Flacco's passing chart. He's throwing the ball all over the field, down the field. He's not dinking and dunking. He is throwing the ball all over the field. And yeah, he had 2 interceptions. One of those was on the last Hail Mary, and the other one was on like a tip ball. So the 2 interceptions, essentially not even real.
What about the sacks? Because the sacks thing, that Joe Burrow sacked so much, he is playing a little bit rattled. So that is a factor. Now, we talked about this before, that the O-line was kind of stepping up for Joe Flacco, protecting the older guy. And so if he feels a little bit more protected, that's not in the back of his head, that is a factor.
True. Fair. That is fair. And I don't know what they ended up sacking him, but he has obviously no mobility. And so, just mentally, the offensive line has to step up. Otherwise, what you're going to have to go back to Jake Browning if you get old man Flacco hurt. All right. How about this on the Bears side, Mike? Okay. Ben Johnson is pulling out every single type of trick play in the book. And I want to get your thoughts on this. Do you think this is cool, or is it a little bit corny, kind of cringe? I will say they are working the trick plays. All right, we'll start off with this. I've got 3 of them. He had 3 different guys throw the ball in the game. All right, here's one. Okay.
Zone coverage, 2 deep coverage. He makes a fast decision right between the linebackers, and it gets him to first down. A little trickery. Caleb gets it to his tight end. Kmet's going to toss. And the Bears going a little bit deeper into their bag of tricks.
There's one. Okay. That's not all. That's not even close to all. Ben Johnson has the most bag of tricks. Happy Halloween. He's got a bag of candy and a bag of tricks. And you've got this.
Get him on the edge, but he has to have a chance to make this play. They go end around. Moore's going to toss it and into the end zone to a wide open Williams.
Okay.
Working.
Get him on the edge.
What do you think? Cool or cringe?
Typically, trick plays, I'm always against. Always, I think it's so gimmicky. I think it shows such a lack of faith in your offense to just line up and execute what you have planned well. I think it's just a little gimmicky and shows a little bit of insecurity. But I will say, strategically sprinkled in, especially in the first quarter, something like this, a double pass, it does make the defense have to play what for honestly for the rest of the game because they're like, dang, they're going to do a double pass again at some point. So
True.
strategically, like one or two a game like that, I think he's utilizing it properly. I don't think he's overusing it, and it's working. So if had these not worked, then it'd be a completely different conversation. But it was working, and so
Yeah. It is working. You can argue. People like to argue that if you're doing trick plays, that means you're not confident, basically, in your offensive scheme and just playing football just straight up normally. However, this is kind of Ben Johnson's shtick. Like he did this in Detroit. This is kind of what he's known for: all these creative, innovative plays and using them. And he doesn't. It feels like he's not using them out of desperation. He's using them properly. He's using them as the sprinkles on the ice cream. Also, he's not trying to build a foundation of an offensive scheme on trick plays. He's using them in a very great way. And so I am a fan. It also just makes the Bears fun to watch. Okay. I know that they've got it makes them very fun to watch. Right.
And I will say, when you have a trick play that you've put in, that you've installed during a week, during the week leading up to a game, okay, and you get to practice it once or twice every practice, it is a morale booster for the offense. It is fun. It makes the guys feel like we're playing backyard football. It loosens it up. It brings the fun back in the game. So it is something that is good to have in your package installs per week, just in case.
One could argue that doing trick plays successfully is an important part of building a good football culture. Because you're right, it does increase morale. And, you know, the monotony of a football season where every week is similar, of course, but you get in your game plan, you go to practice, you have your walkthroughs, and it's like, it can get a little monotonous at times, but then coach says, "Hey, we're going to practice the trick play here." And Cole Kmet, you're going to get to throw. You're going to get to throw. And then these guys get excited about doing stuff they don't get to do. Caleb Williams gets to catch the ball. He actually looks pretty good when he's out there running. I will say on Caleb Williams, he's not turned the football over. He does, for me, look still at times in the pocket, just a little bit too frantic, a little bit too, I don't know, jittery, even when he's clearly working hard to stay in there and go through his reads. It doesn't look as calm as some other quarterbacks. Now, the results sometimes are the same. I will say where I'm the most impressed with Caleb Williams is when he's out of the pocket, when he rolls out, especially to his right, and he'll just zip it on the fly. That's where I think I'm the most impressed with him. Still.
Okay, real quick with poise in the pocket, do you think as a quarterback that's kind of more of an innate thing, or that can really be trained? Because how long does it take for someone like Caleb Williams to settle into that at this level where he doesn't look as antsy? Like, does that take a whole season? Does that take 2 seasons? Because he does look good out of the pocket. But
I think that's a good question. That's a good question. I mean, we've seen coaches come in, or getting a marriage between a coach and a quarterback, where they're able to settle down a quarterback and able to help them feel calm going through their reads. A big part of that also, I think, is feeling protected. This is a thing that Ben Johnson did in the offseason. They went and they got 3 new interior offensive linemen. Like, they spend, I think, top 8, top 7 in the NFL on their offensive linemen. So I think part of that is knowing, okay, I've got a good O-line that's protecting me, and then I feel calm enough and I feel like I have enough time to go through my progressions. And he's doing it. He is doing it. It's just, if you watch, it's just a little, I don't know, maybe it's just a little herky-jerky with the motions. It's just a little bit shaky for me.
He's still fighting muscle memory. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here.
Exactly. That's exactly it. It feels like he's fighting the urge to do one read and go and scramble. Whereas if you watch like a Matthew Stafford, it looks very calm. And the urge to scramble is like last case scenario. It's like that doesn't even come into his mind until like, oh man, I've gone through 7 different reads, nothing there. That's my only criticism right now, at least this week with Caleb Williams. All right, let's move on to the Bills and the Chiefs. This ended up being just a 1-score game, but really the difference here was the performance of Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen played a great football game. Look at this, okay? He completed 88% of his passes. Mahomes completed just 44% of his. Mahomes was just totally off. He also threw just a terrible jump ball pick kind of near the end there, that when they were trying to come back, and it just sort of solidified the loss for them. Here's my question, Mike, okay? these are like always talked about as the two best quarterbacks or two of the best quarterbacks in the modern day NFL. And they've played each other a lot. The NFL always schedules them to play each other in the regular season because they are such great cinematic games. And then they have played each other, I think, 4 times in the playoffs. As of lately, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills have Mahomes and the Chiefs' number in the regular season. But the Chiefs are 4-0. Mahomes is 4-0 against Josh Allen in the playoffs when it matters. Here's my question. Does it count really then as a rivalry when the games that matter are completely one-sided? Josh Allen has yet to be able to beat Mahomes in a game that actually matters in the playoffs. It's great in the regular season, and Bills fans get excited. Is it really a rivalry?
Fascinating. I can't say that it is. It's the stats. It's a blowout. You want to be like, I personally do not like this approach that Mahomes has, which is perform when it matters. Okay, it's really cool, and he can get away with it, but it's not a good culture to have. And you can see they're 5-4. Right. And they're so much better than that, but they're just like, this game doesn't matter. We'll try when it matters. We can turn it on, and they kind of can, but it's not a good culture to watch. So I think it is a blowout, and it can't really be described as a rivalry because they're so much better in the postseason when it matters. But I don't want to give them the credit for that. They're like, well, you can just turn it on when it matters. Yeah, even though that clutch thing is a sign of greatness. I don't like it.
Yeah, I would like to see a little bit more consistency. I mean, they're 5-4. Like, I think, what are they, third? They're third in their division right now, I believe. And it's tough. I'm going to check right now. I'm going to check the remainder of their schedule. And it's like, they don't have like a cakewalk of a remaining schedule. All right. They've got at Denver. That's tough. They've got the Colts. They're at Dallas, which their defense is terrible, but their offense is really good. Houston, one of the best defenses in the NFL. The Chargers. All right. Tennessee's easy. Back again, Denver. And then Vegas. So you've got essentially, I'll call them 2 easy games and 5 difficult games. They're now in a position where they're like on the cusp of wild card hunt. So they've gotten themselves in a tough spot right there. So it's kind of not looking great for the Chiefs. I do think they'll figure it out though. They're going to sneak in there somehow as a wild card team and see if they can do their magic in the playoffs. All right, let's talk about Lions Vikings. This is the game every time the Lions are playing in the 1:00 window, which is the 7 p.m. window for us football fans here in Germany. Laura and I, my wife, we sit down, we get a pizza, and we watch the Lions game. So I was watching the Lions Vikings game last night, and I will say this. I think the Vikings were like 10-point underdogs. Playing like the Lions are fantastic at home, one of the best teams at home. And they have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Brian Flores, the defensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings, dialed it up, and they had the Lions offense number because they sacked Jared Goff 5 times. I think they hit him 11. The Lions also, a big thing for their offense to get humming is they need to run the football, and they rushed for like less than 100 yards. I think it was like 70 or 80 yards. So the Minnesota Vikings defense really held them, and the offense really was not clicking, was not humming on the all cylinders, and Jared Goff was uncomfortable. And it is just it was an impressive one, I think, because for the Vikings, they're coming here underdogs. JJ McCarthy coming back from his injury. Remember, he had his sprained ankle, and everyone's wondering, all right, what's going on with the Vikings?
This was his first game back.
His first game back, and he actually did show up. JJ McCarthy, essentially, this pass right here was, I think, right? Yeah, this pass right here was the game winner, okay? Because the Lions were trying to stop them. The Lions were kind of coming back a little bit. They had their momentum. 3rd and 5 on the road. You got to get the first down here, and here's J.J. McCarthy with the game winning.
3rd down. First down would win it. McCarthy throwing it. Naylor! Oh, he caught it! Jalen Naylor turned around and hauled it in for a first down.
It's a good ball right there, isn't it?
It's a gutsy throw to throw that back shoulder right there when he's neck and neck. That's good.
Pretty good. All right, let me ask you this, Mike, about J.J. McCarthy, okay? Because everyone got super excited about him in one of his earlier games where he was kind of like, he's got a little bit of a killer mentality. Now, he's been terrible in like 7 quarters in almost 2 full games that he's played. but he's been really good in certain spots. What do you think of this? Do you like when your quarterback has this kind of this tweet is JJ McCarthy might be a serial killer. He's getting shouted out in the locker room afterward, and this is his energy.
Whoa! Oh.
He's doing the Leo DiCaprio Wolf of Wall Street underbite.
Yeah.
Look at those eyes. Look at those eyes.
Trance there?
I don't know if that's legitimate.
He was locked into it. Let's get
Okay, what? You don't like it? You think it's illegitimate?
I just don't know how authentic that is. I just don't know.
Hear me out.
Maybe I have to watch more of him, but on the surface, that does look a little performative to me. Like, I'm so crazy. I had a good game, so now I can pretend like I've been crazy this whole time, and everybody's scared of me. No, you're putting this. Careful with that.
Look how crazy I am. I'm such a crazy quarterback.
Yeah,
hear me out.
People are so scared of me. Be careful.
What? He played for Jim Harbaugh in college, okay? And you've seen Harbaugh. Harbaugh doesn't like do those crazy faces. Harbaugh's crazy in his own right. And it just makes sense that his quarterback at Michigan for those multiple years also has a little bit of that in him, authentically, no?
Yeah, but even if you have it inside of you, it doesn't come out that way. You keep it hidden because it's your shadow. You don't want people to see because it's so bad. That's when it's legitimate. Is that when you're trying to hide it from people because it's so bad, it's something that you're scared of in yourself. When it's something that you want other people to see like this, it's fake and inauthentic.
So you don't like JJ McCarthy?
No, I like him. I just be careful with the face.
Okay, be careful with the face. Sure. Let me tell you why. Okay, but one of the things that I had were as a winner was Minnesota Vikings fans because their defense showed up against one of the best offenses in the NFL on the road. Defense was very impressive, bringing the pressure. These linebackers were flying all over the field. And JJ McCarthy coming back from injury, we didn't know what he was going to be like, if he was going to actually be able to, kind of lead this team. And now that's 2 division wins on the road for essentially a rookie quarterback. Pretty good. So I think Minnesota Viking fans, even though my brother Mikey doesn't like the performative nature of JJ's locker room behavior, I think that they deserve to be in my winners category for the week. What do you think?
Okay, that's fair. That's
fair.
good.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. Steelers Colts. Okay. Everyone's been so excited about the Colts. Like the Colts magic and Daniel Jones. And look, I've been excited for them, but I've also been vocally very hesitant to be like, I think this is the real deal. They went, granted, playing at Pittsburgh is tough. They went and got themselves smacked by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, this is interesting. Pittsburgh Steelers defense, which is the most expensive defense in the NFL, has not been playing very well. Okay. So much so, this is hilarious, actually. This is where sports fans are really great. So much so that Steelers fans had in the parking lot at their tailgate a funeral for their defense before the game. Okay.
That's so funny. That's really funny.
Isn't that funny?
That's a good fandom.
You got to respect that. Okay. So everyone's like, oh man, Steelers defense spending all this money, not really showing up. Here come the Colts, the best offense in the NFL. And this is what the Pittsburgh Steelers did. Okay. The Colts had only 4 turnovers in the first 8 games. The Steelers forced 6 turnovers against the Colts.
Dang.
Daniel Jones threw 3 picks and he himself lost 2 fumbles, at least 2 fumbles personally.
Dang, really?
Yeah.
That's horrendous. You won't win any game like that.
Yeah. And so the Steelers went from a measly +3 in the turnover margin. They were +3 in turnovers, and now they, I believe, are +9 after this game, which jumps them up to 2nd in the NFL. Which, when I look at a defense and try and consider a defense, is this defense actually legit? I like to look at that turnover margin. And now the Steelers are 2nd in the NFL in their turnover margin. Okay, and part of me also thinks that it wasn't really on the surface, it wasn't a do or die game for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay. but they have kind of been trending a little bit in the wrong direction. They lost that game to Cincinnati and Joe Flacco on that Thursday night. And, people were wondering, okay, Lamar Jackson is back for the Ravens. The Ravens seem to be trending up. Are the Ravens just going to surpass the Steelers in the AFC North, and the Steelers kind of let their season just slip away? Let's not forget the Steelers started off really great last year and then lost a bunch of games and lost their position. So I thought that this game against the Colts actually had a lot of meaning for them in terms of momentum on their season. And also at this specific point where TJ Watt forced that first turnover, because the game started off with the Colts going down. I think it was like a 14-play drive. It ate up 8.5 minutes of the first quarter. It ate up basically half of the whole first quarter. It's like, man, Steelers defense is in shambles. The Colts offense driving on them, controlling the game, controlling the clock. And then all of a sudden here, after that first drive, TJ Watt comes in and has this beautiful play. You know what? I'm going to let this play. This is Baldy's breakdowns. Because after this turnover here, then the Steelers defense snapped into gear and they started dominating. Let's let this play out. Baldy's breakdowns.
The entire afternoon changed for the Pittsburgh Steelers on this play by TJ Watt on 1st and 10 with 11:27 to go in the second quarter. The Colts had 1st and 10. They were up 7-0, and TJ throws the hook right here on Braden Smith. Look at this angle that TJ is at right now. He's got his right hand on the ground. His left hand's reaching for the ball of Daniel Jones, who hadn't lost a fumble all year. And right there, TJ gets the ball out. Not only gets the ball out, but he recovers the ball too.
Beautiful.
He gets the sack fumble, and the fumble recovery. He gets the trifecta, and it gets the ball back to the offense. And the entire day, as he blows kisses to the fans and the terrible towels in Pittsburgh, like the whole day changed. And the defensive line and the defense took this game over.
That's exactly
the entire afternoon changed.
So that's exactly what happened. That was
incredible play. That is, you know what? That's when you see the D linemen doing their indie drills and then doing a little hula hoop with the tennis ball. Now you see, okay, it's not so stupid. It's not a stupid drill.
Exactly.
It means something. That's an incredible play. What a spark.
Because he actually he really did like the perfect technique from that indie drills. Like you're dipping down, your inside hand literally touches the turf, which I'm always like, all right, like TJ Watt doing that there. This kind of play also solidifies and always reminds me why edge rushers are the highest paid player on the defense, and typically, besides some wide receivers, the highest paid non-quarterbacks in football because of stuff like this. And I think it's like, there's only a handful of these elite guys. And that's why those guys get paid, $40 million a year. Okay. So Steelers defense, feeling good. That's why they're in my winners category. Why are the Colts in my losers category? Okay. They just lost one game. They're still sitting at 7-2, right? Colts magic still there. I don't really think so.
You think this eradicated the whole thing? This completely takes the wind out of their sails.
Look at this. Colts schedule starting off, okay? Up until this point, they had the 4th easiest schedule in the NFL. From this point on, they have the 4th most difficult schedule in the NFL. Okay? The cakewalk is over. All right? Now, they could shut me up and win all these games and absolutely dominate the back half of their schedule, these hard games. But I have been saying I haven't been so impressed with any of their wins. Okay, I've been saying that, and now we're gonna see if this back half of the schedule, if they're able to keep up that Colts magic. Daniel Jones looked like New York Giants Daniel Jones. Okay, and there was like some close-up shots of his face on camera where he looked really worried and like totally out of his element, and it was just like, oh, we've seen that before in New York.
That is a really bad sign. If you can't keep it together when things are going bad, that's going to be tough. Okay. That's fair. But I do still have a lot of faith in them, and I'm rooting for them the back half of the season. I love to see a turnaround.
Mike, don't get me wrong. I would love to. I would love to see that. Let's look at their schedule really quick. Okay. I would love to. I just don't think it's real. I think the magic's over. Okay. Back to the real world. Here's the rest of their schedule. Look at this front half of their schedule. Okay, they beat Denver. That was actually very, very impressive. I do take that back. They beat Miami. They beat Tennessee. They beat Vegas. They beat Arizona. All right, beating the Chargers is impressive, but then they beat Tennessee.
That's real.
Okay. Now they got
they played Tennessee twice.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're in division. They got Kansas City, Houston, Seattle, San Francisco, and Houston. And Jacksonville. Those are the rest of the games that they play outside of Atlanta. And who knows about Atlanta? Because Atlanta,
dang it, you might be completely right.
I am
It's
right.
hard. It is hard to look at this and see any wins. Maybe Jacksonville, maybe Houston. We'll see. We'll see what kind of mood Patrick Mahomes is in when they play. So
see what goes
that is
on.
a tough back half.
So that's why, sorry, Colts fans, you are in my loser category. All right, going to the 49ers and Giants game. 49ers traveling to New York, playing banged up. 49ers famously banged up. And they had a tough game last week going to Houston. Houston, one of the best defenses in the NFL, and they really shut down that 49ers offense. So they needed a bounce-back game. Flew to New York, and they did just that. They had a great game. I think they ended up winning 34-24. Christian had 2 touchdowns, over 100 on the ground. It's like another 70 through the air. It's so interesting. The 49ers, in my opinion, are one of the only, if not the only, team in the NFL that is the offense is really driven not through the quarterback. It's driven through Christian. It's like you throw any guy in there at quarterback.
Yeah.
If they have Christian in there, this versatile weapon that takes a lot of attention away from multiple defenders, then the offense is going. And I think it's a unique situation. What do you think?
I agree with that. And here is why it works.
Okay.
Number one, when you have a good running back who's good in space, who you can just hit on a swing route and know first down, that is such a difference maker when you have a quarterback who's willing to throw the check down. Okay. When you have a quarterback who's really willing to go through his progressions and hit a check down, not an ego guy, and run the system. And you have a guy like Christian who is, if you check down to him, it's a first down. That opens up everything. So
this is what drove me
such a difference. Yeah.
This is what drove me crazy early in Christian's career. Watching him on the Panthers when Cam Newton was the quarterback, I felt like Cam would never dump it down to Christian when he was wide. It was like, okay, 7 yards guaranteed, probably 15 because he'll break the tackle. And he would force it in somewhere. And there are times where I would be screaming at the TV. And with Mac Jones and Brock Purdy, I mean, it seems like they don't really have that. All right. So why are the New York Giants also on my list? I said at the start, why should they feel hopeful? Okay. They're 2-7 now. Scatterbro is hurt, and Malik Neighbors is hurt, 2 of their best offensive weapons. They clearly lost a spark with Scatterbro getting injured. Like, they had this fun energy with Scatterbro and Jackson Dart and the headbutting thing. Like, you could really feel it. It was a palpable thing. They certainly lost that without him. But what I will say is the Giants clearly have found their quarterback. Dart is playing pretty well. He looks calm. He looks poised. He's also very mobile. I think he added like 50. I think he threw for like 200 plus, 2 touchdowns, no picks. I think he did well on the ground as well. And he's clearly the guy. And now the question is, Brian Daboll, who's been with the Giants since 2022, his best season was in 2022. I think they went 9-7, and that's when they made the playoffs and lost in the first round. Since then, it's been a disaster. But Brian Daboll was, from what we've heard, the driving force of getting the Giants to move up to draft Jackson Dart. And he was right. Jackson Dart was Daboll's guy, Daboll's pick. He wanted him. And I think he made the right pick there. That makes me think that the New York Giants, because there's all this talk about they got to get rid of Daboll, get a new coach in there. It makes me think they should give Daboll another year. Because I think that if he has another year of developing with Jackson Dart, they get some of these guys back. They're really banged up right now. They get Scatterbo back next year. They get Malik Neighbors back. Then I think that something could be built upon in New York. And you don't have to throw out Brian Daboll just yet and force Jackson Dart now to start next year with a new coach and a new offensive scheme. What do you think about that?
I think that's the right move. And I think that New York is a tough fan base, but when you have Scatterbo and you have that energy, that's sparky, and it's kind of enough to keep the fans happy while we're like, hey, we're rebuilding a little bit.
Yeah.
But do you really think this front office is going to have the patience to be like to give him another year? It's so rare to see that where the front office is like, you know what, he's putting some pieces in place. Let's give him another year and really watch this thing blossom. You know, the leash is typically so short.
It really is. And also in New York, the fan base gets really loud. I think you're right. Like when Scatabo was playing, it kind of gave the fans like a little something to chew on. They're like, yeah, we're bad, but it's fun. And we can see the potential. And now with him out, I think it kind of reveals, like it brings everyone kind of back to reality and can increase the pressure. So, but I think that there's hope in New York. They've got their quarterback. Dable is a good coach. He's just had struggles with getting the right quarterback for his system. He did well in Buffalo with Josh Allen, and I think they should give him another year. And I think Giants fans, you've got your quarterback. Feel some hope. All right, Mike, let's end with our game of cringe or cool. Okay, we're gonna dip into a little bit of college, and we got a little bit of pro stuff. We're starting off here, cringe or cool. Okay, with the Oklahoma Sooners kicker having his hands. Okay, we're gonna go to Kirk Herbstreit on the call first. Okay. Here's what Kirk had to say.
I guess that the Volunteers know he's got his like shorts on. I guess that's no longer frowned upon in the sport.
Yeah, I guess not. It is with me, but
those are the shortest I've ever seen.
It is with me.
Football field.
Should be,
right?
Bill. That should be a penalty. Just dressing like that should be a penalty. What the hell is it?
He said, "What the hell is it?"
Another 50 plus. This is from 51 to give Oklahoma the lead.
All right, I'm not even going to show. He makes the kick. Good for him. But
Okay.
What we're looking at here is this. Is this cringe or is it cool? Because we're seeing pants get shorter and shorter, like with receivers. Mike?
Okay. Who needs full flexion? It is a kicker. That doesn't mean you go mid-thigh. It means you go above the knee. Okay? So this is cringe. Right sentiment, wrong length.
Yeah. Because that's not helping you physically at all. If anything,
That difference between right above the knee and mid-thigh does not increase productivity in any way. It's just kind of I think I look cool.
Yeah, well, for me, it even decreases productivity if you get a little too high, because then they would start to write up your thigh, and it's like
now we're losing circulation. Okay,
Yeah.
This is your kicking leg we're talking about. So just keep it right above the knee, which I respect. I'm always anti-knee pads. I'm always you can take it above the knee, but this is too high.
Okay, so we're going cringe. I'm with you. That is cringe. Kirk Herbstreit also agrees. He said, "What the hell is that?"
That's great. That's great commentary.
Lane Kiffin is famously very active on Twitter. He's a funny guy. He goes on podcasts, and I don't know if it's every single day, but it feels like it's almost every single day, where he posts these motivational pages from some book that he's reading. It's kind of like the self-help stuff of like, hey, you're going to do great. You're waiting on something more. Maybe the storm is there to correct your path. Have an amazing Monday, everyone. He posts these, the head coach of Ole Miss, basically every day. Is this cool or is this cringe, Mike?
Is it satirical? Is he being silly and funny, or is this the genuine, like he's rooting his day and sharing it?
I think that he's being a little bit funny. Like he knows that people do this and it's kind of cringe, is my interpretation, because he's such a funny, cool guy. I think he knows it's kind of cringy, but he's doing it that kind of to be funny, but also because it offers some value to some people, maybe help some people out. I think he's getting a little bit of both. I think. Okay.
Yeah. I my first glance at this, I take the same interpretation. I'm going to say cool. I think this is cool. It is good. It is good to root your day in something like this.
Good. All right. Good. I'm good.
State.
I'm also going cool. Okay. All right. I hope that you have the same thoughts of me on this one. Tennessee Volunteers night game. They do their blackout game. This is their opening. Is this cool or cringe? Okay, they make the tee. Goes dark.
They form the tee, and then this is a dark mode wrinkle.
Okay, this is so sick. Okay, it's so sick.
This is so cool. Holy, how did they do that? Oh, that's the team running out? Oh, that is so cool.
Look at that shot.
I have chills. That is the coolest thing ever. Holy mackerel.
I don't want to hear a word from some European soccer fans. Actually, our football games are the best environment. College football, especially in the South, is the #1 sports environment in the world.
Yeah, that is so cool. There is nothing better. I have chills. That's cool. So cool.
That's cool. I would say it does suck they ended up losing the game. It does suck. They lost the game. But gosh,
because they spent half of every practice leading up to the week practicing the entrance to the game.
I mean, because the players had to know. The players had to know, like, we're gonna run out in the tee. We're like, you know what? Let's practice this.
We're gonna go at the left side of the tee. Okay, let's practice, everybody. So
exactly. Okay, here we go. Cool or cringe? Matt Stafford going in for a block, and then these are his comments about his block. Here we go.
Getting ready. I threw the pads in there a little bit. I ran by Sean Smith, the ref after that. I was like, I'm too old for that. So, he was like, smart decision. I was like, man, I kind of took a lick there. But no, yeah, I mean, I don't know what I was doing. I was just playing.
All right, Matt Stafford.
That's cool. He's a cool guy. He's got a backwards hat. He's just trying to show that he's willing. He's almost willing to put his body on the line for his teammates. I think this is what it would look like. This is what it were to look like if I were to block for you. And then he gets
that when you're a valuable old quarterback. There was also that famous clip of Tom Brady doing something similar back in the day. And Tom Brady, his social media team took it and they put on some really hardcore AC/DC as Tom is running as fast as he can, but it's really slow. And he pretends to block a guy on the Jets. I think that's what you have to do when you're that guy. Just the fact that he ran a little bit to be like, look at me.
He almost he was in the vicinity. This is exactly like the Jerry Seinfeld bit of when you are hustling across the street for a car and you're still walking, but you lift your arms and you go like this a little bit to kind of show that you're giving the car a hustle. Yeah. And he says, this is what it would look like if I were to hustle. And that's the same thing here.
I do that all the time here in Germany. And I do it because pedestrians in Europe, they have an entitlement. There's a pedestrian entitlement, and no pedestrians show any thanks or gratefulness to cars who stop. And they walk slow on. So I always give them the fake, look at me hustle. I think
right away should go to car, by the way, because the car is spending money and wasting gas by braking for you.
That's a good theory. All right, here we go. Last one, cool or cringe. Danny Smith, and we've seen Pete Carroll do this. Football coaches who make chomping gum a big part of their personality.
Coach, you combine that much gum and that much saliva, things will happen.
Mike, look how tough he is. He's chewing it. You mean to tell me this is not cool?
I just hate gum. You use a mint. Gum is such what are you, an 8th grader at a school dance getting ready? Chewing gum is telling the world, so I'm probably going to kiss somebody right now. Just use a mint. All right. And if you're going to choose something during a game, dip. Use tobacco. Get an addiction like that. That's cool as a coach. Chewing gum, stop it. Stop that.
So cringe. All right.
Cringe.
I'm going to go. There's a fine line. Okay. You can't be that chompy with it. Okay. Look, Mike, I'm sort of a gum guy. I did this podcast.
I know.
Piece of gum in.
I know.
Right? Give me some active with my jaw, it makes me feel like I'm doing something. I like to chew gum when I work, but it can get annoying. If you make any sound with your gum, then 2 thumbs down. Cringe.
Yeah.
Okay?
Any sound with your gum is just an act of aggression in my book.
Just like whistling. Okay.
Yeah.
There it is. All right, everybody. That's cool or cringe. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.